I do apologize, but there is a committee substitute on Senate Bill 437. Do you have a copy of that? Okay, I will provide you a copy of that. Oh. Ms. Michelle has a copy. Basically, I had discussed with Senator Payne, there was some concern voiced by Legislative Counsel on a circular reference that was in the previous iteration of Senate Bill 437. So we are going to be presenting this as a, Senator Payne, if you'd like to step to the podium, we'll go ahead and get that presented. So committee members, we are working from Senate Bill 437 LC 298086S. Senator, if you'd just like to give us a short precis of the bill.
Really a change in the law. It's really more of a clarification in the law, just to make sure that there's no confusion, because the code originally said a parent may consent orally or in writing, and that may was subjective to confusion. So therefore, that is in contradiction with the law, where they're required to have consent of the parent or guardian.
Okay. Are there any questions from the committee members? Seeing none, what is the will of the committee? Okay, there is a move to pass from Representative Collins. Is there a second? There is a second from Vice Chair Cox. Any discussion? On the move to for a due pass recommendation on Senate Bill 437 LC 298086S, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
So the next item on the agenda we're going to call is Senate Resolution 681 LC 430801. Senator Harbin. Welcome, Senator.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Appreciate it. And members of the committee, it's a busy day.
It is, and I realize y'all are in session still, so I'm trying to get y'all in and out as quickly as I can.
Thank you for your consideration and your help. This is a resolution to encourage our United States Congress for the purposes of the Parental Rights Amendment. I think more and more we're seeing the rights of parents being challenged as the upbringing of their children, which has always been a fundamental right of the parent. I think even more encouragement, a reason for encouragement, would be the issues of treaties that are outside of our countries that involve our children. And I believe that right belongs to our nation, and that our nation's laws should be the ones that govern the upbringing of our children, and not any one foreign powers outside of our state or outside of our nation. And so that's what that resolution is really about, in a short sweep.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that, Senator. You do have a couple of questions. Representative Holcomb.
Senator Harbin, can you explain how the Troxel v. Granville decision has created confusion and ambiguity about the fundamental nature of parental rights, both in our country and here in Georgia?
I'm going to be very candid. I don't, and in that respect, I don't understand that particular case, and I have not done that. Okay. I have to be candid. I won't lie to you.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Representative Holcomb. Representative Spencer.
At the appropriate time, Madam Chair, I'd like to call the question.
Okay. All right. There's Representative Oliver has a question.
Can you give me an example of a foreign country rule or case that could possibly influence the United States parents' rights?
There was a move in the United Nations, a bill that they were trying to move through that would affect children, and from what I've been told is that treaty law absolutely will supersede constitutional law. And so that reason we're trying to elevate that is what I've been told that happened.
Do you have any specifics on that, about what treaty or what document or what effort was being put forward specifically?
I don't. Do you call by chance? Can I call? No. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Anything further, Representative Oliver? Nope. All right. There being no further questions, I will recognize Representative Spencer for a motion.
I make a motion to pass, Madam Chair.
Okay. There is a motion to pass from Representative Spencer. Is there a second? There's a second from Representative Raffensperger. All those in favor of do pass recommendation for Senate Resolution 681, LC 430801, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, all those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Motion passes. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, we have a couple of additional things that were down for hearing only. Representative Price and Senator James. I spoke with Senator James briefly. I don't see her. So I think, ladies and gentlemen, we are going. Okay. Okay, to speak? Okay. If you would like to make a brief statement to the committee, you may do so. Or if you have a handout or some other information, I try not to waste people's time, but trying to be succinct and without the sponsor here, a little bit out of the ordinary. But so anyway, if you'd like to come to the podium, you can make a brief statement. This is on House Bill 983 LC. Nope, we forgot the LC on there. LC 337208 from Representative Price. So, and if you'll just introduce yourself to the committee.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
Good afternoon, Madam Chairman and the committee. My name is Dr. Melody McLeod. I am a physician here in the Atlanta area, retired. But also I am here because I, in 2013, became rather involved with the case of one of the children who was killed by his father. His name was Eric Forbes. And I pitched this particular measure, which is now HB 983, which I call Eric's Law, to my representative, Betty Price. Basically, little Eric Forbes, and we had a lot of children that died, as you know, under DFACS. Over 200 children were deceased who had been notified, DFACS had been notified about them. Eric Forbes, however, as I see it, was the poster child for these failings because there were over 10 calls to DFACS about Eric being abused, and nothing was done. He was interviewed, but in the presence of his father. So you know he didn't tell, yes, that man is beating me, to a pulp. Little Eric, I've done a lot of work with this over the last few years. In fact, 4 years ago to the day, Representative Oliver and I were together at the Sloppy Floyd building about this. I have Eric's autopsy report, which was hard to get. And you don't have to be a physician when you look through this to see that he had multiple bruises all over his body in different stages of healing. He had human bite marks all over his body in different stages of healing. The autopsy is horrific. And the problem, the bill is about mandatory medical referral. We have to let DFACS do their job at 1 call, 2 calls, but upon a 3rd call to DFACS, I'm asking, and thank God Representative Price is suggesting to you that upon a 3rd call to DFACS, that child be secured and examined by a medical professional,
Okay.
a physician, a pediatrician, even a PA.
Okay.
And it's done in other states, and I do
Yep.
have a handout for you if you'll
Okay.
let me give
Yes.
it to you.
Oh, yeah.
And I
you'll
also
pass
have
this along to-
Florida's handbook, because they do that. I have that over there.
Okay.
I have his DFACS report, so I can
Okay.
contact you later.
You do have a question. We have our own medical professional on our Juvenile Justice Committee, so Representative Spencer.
Thank you, Doctor, for bringing this. I really appreciate this. I've been called on cases where, in some cases, children may have been subsequently thought of to be abused, and they may have genetic disorders that you may be aware of, like OI, osteogenesis imperfecta. It can be assumed that there's an injury. So I really appreciate you bringing this. This is an issue that has come up in my own district, and I thank you for bringing this.
Thank you very much. And again, the autopsy is just a horrific situation, and one doesn't need to be a physician to read this. If someone sees this, and I had a hard time getting it from the GBI, and they even said, Dr. McLeod, you don't want to read this. But I said, no, I've got to see it. And I don't think he had 1 square inch of his body that was not affected with bruises and bite marks. And even his excuse me,
I worked as a child advocate for a long time,
even
so
his,
we can.
even his toenails had been pulled back off
Mhm.
of his nail
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah, we try to deal with policy.
Okay, well, I'm
So,
just, the
yeah.
policy, third
And
call to
we-
defects, and I want, and so there's no county hop,
Mhm.
okay, because sometimes they'll be in one county and a couple of calls have come in, so
Mhm.
the parent may county hop to another county, and so there needs to be a continuation, one child, one case number across the state. Also, if we could get some student at Georgia Tech, if there's a linkage of CHOA or DFACS and DHS, so that we know and we can follow a third call alert to notify and get that child examined by a cooperating physician, PA, even a PA would be fine, to examine the child head to toe.
Okay, all right, you have a question from Representative Cox.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Honestly, this is a question, really just kind of a parliamentary language-related question in the
Who's
bill that I
speaking?
could direct to the chair or to legislative council. But in the new language underlined, it talks about lines 22 to 23 that the requirement of medical review of the case and medical evaluation of the child, if deemed necessary by the physician. But isn't the physician?
Actually, I wanted to strike that, if you might, I thought that if deemed necessary by the physician, I thought if the physician or the clinical examiner is doing the exam, that is it.
Yeah, it seems almost circular saying.
Yeah, that little phrase right there, I would strike in my, layman assessment.
So, Madam Chair, if the chair is going to take action on this bill, I would want
It's
to
not,
offer
it's
an
only for a
amendment.
hearing.
Okay.
It's only for a hearing. This was filed very late by Representative Price. There are a lot of moving parts. As a former child advocate that used to work on child abuse protocol committees, there's a lot of moving parts. While something may seem very simple, there's a lot of moving parts
Right.
in getting a policy like this implemented. However, I did think that it was, I did want to make the committee aware of that, is if this is something that we work on moving forward. So that was the purpose of having a hearing for today. So Doctor, I thank you for coming. I do apologize that Representative Price wasn't here, and Senator James still isn't here, so.
Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
And again, I gave you the handout, so
Yes.
articles I've written and things like that, so.
Thank you.
All right, thank
I
you very much.
appreciate it. Thank you for your work on this issue. And ladies and gentlemen, to the most awesome committee in the House, we are adjourned.